Hi, it's Juliana again with another video. I'm sorry I missed last week's Fun Friday. I'll try to make this week's. This video will be a deeper look into definitions of words related to disability for you to learn and where they can be applied in our lives. These words are important to learn because they're not normally taught and they're important to understanding our situation and what we might face. Educating yourself also helps you educate others. There are a lot of big words that even I didn't know before I started spending time talking to other disabled people. There are also many concepts that I didn't understand because our understanding of disability is through a non-disabled world that's not always friendly to us. Changing and furthering this understanding is really important. Once again, captions are available in both English and Spanish, and the transcript can be opened from the three dots on the right. On the gear, when you click it, it lets you choose your language, and here's to turn captions on or off. You might have to open a new tab if you're not watching this on YouTube, so you can only access the transcript from the YouTube site. Let's start with the word disabled. Who is disabled, and why is the label important? A disability is when your body, mind, or both are different from most people's to where it's hard to do things that other people can do easily. When this difference becomes limiting due to inaccessibility, the word disabled is necessary. Most people only think of disability as something obvious, like deafness or Down syndrome, but for me, I was nervous for a long time to call myself disabled. My disability is invisible, but it leaves me with only a little energy and makes it so I feel pain more. Because it impacted my life and I needed changes to be made for me to have as normal an experience as other people, the label was necessary for me. Is everyone with a medical condition disabled? Well, if it affects your life greatly to where you need changes made, then the label does apply. To identify means to describe yourself as something. Not all people who disability applies to will identify as disabled. People who disability applies to are cancer patients, ADHD or autistic people, I should say, people with mental illness, or people with other medical issues or differences. Because my illness was beginning to limit what I could do in the world due to inaccessibility, which we discussed last time, the word disabled became necessary to describe that I needed things most people didn't. I needed more sleep to keep my books in classrooms and canes or walkers to get around easier. I use a wheelchair now. I can now identify or describe myself as disabled, and now I'm connected to other people who live with inaccessibility and ableism too. Not everyone feels comfortable with the label, and you should respect that, but a lot of people worry about the term only because society makes us think it's something bad. Like it's on us and not on it for not considering us. We wouldn't need the word if everything was accessible. Claim the identity of disability proudly is a step towards helping people stop thinking of it as shameful or sad. It helps others learn it's normal. There are a lot of words non-disabled people have come up with to feel less uncomfortable with the word because they were taught that it means something negative. Terms like differently abled, special, and others. They feel nervous saying things like autistic person, even though it's not bad and it's just a different way of brain wiring. Autism isn't an accessory, it's who you are. This is why a lot of disabled people prefer identity first language other than person first. Identity first would be Mia is autistic and John is also disabled. Person first would be Mia has autism and John also has a disability. Disability is a part of us, so a lot of us prefer identity first. Most disabled people active in the community prefer identity first too. Whatever you feel most comfortable with is fine, but question yourself on why you prefer what you do. For me, I prefer identity first because it's how I would describe myself with the other things that make up who I am. I'm white. I'm not a person with whiteness. I don't carry it around the same as an autistic person doesn't carry their autism around. I'm not, I'm tall. I'm not a person with height. So, um, a hard but important thing to learn is that society itself is ableist. And otherization is something that happens to all of us. It's when people think of you or treat you unlike how they would treat others. If it's not to be accessible, then that different treatment is disrespectful and ableist. It includes events like infantilization and exploitation, which I will get into in the next slides. The opposite of otherization is normalization, which is a process to make people realize something is normal, having society and people think of something as normal. A big part of normalization is good representation and education. Representation is how a type of group is portrayed in media. And the disabled community is lacking in representation. Around 20% of people are disabled in America, but only 2.1% of characters in TV are. And the a lot of those characters aren't played by people who are actually disabled either. This character is from Breaking Bad, which I hope that none of you are watching. And he has cerebral palsy. And his actor also has cerebral palsy. And it's treated as normal, and people watching the show who aren't disabled can understand that this is something normal. This is something that some people just are. Now, infantilization is when someone doesn't expect you to be mature or able to do things. They treat you as younger than you are. They expect you to be pure or innocent. They might use baby talk. They ignore what you have to say about issues that affect you, and they reduce you to their idea of disability. This meme right here shows how a lot of times autistic people, and this can be any type of disabled person, their opinions and voice are ignored in favor for their caretaker, which is usually their mother. And this is hurtful because they're not listened to even though they're right there. So talking to your family instead of you is an example of infantilization. Ableist society makes people, even if they might not know it, like I said, reduce you to their idea of disability rather than respect you as a person who happens to have one. You can be accessible in communicating to a disabled kid if they need your talking changed to better understand you, and they can still treat you like other kids your age. Another event is exploitation. This is an example. It is a child running who has prosthetics, and the text "your excuse is invalid" is above it. This makes it sound like the person who created this has low expectations of disabled people. Exploitation is a combination of inspiration and exploitation, which are both big words. Inspiration is when you feel moved to do or achieve things. Exploitation is using someone else unfairly for your own gain. When someone is inspired by a disabled person living life or doing things just because they're disabled, that is exploitation. Someone wouldn't post this if this kid were not disabled. They wouldn't have this text above it. That is otherization, it is infantilization, and it's exploitation. It is made by and for non-disabled people. Like I mentioned before, I draw, but since identifying as disabled, people seem more impressed with my skill. I've been called inspiring for drawing with a disability a lot, but why do they assume disabled people wouldn't be as good at drawing? The internet and TV has a lot of this, and this is why when we see ourselves represented on TV, a lot of the times it's exploitation. It's not good representation, it's not for us, it's for other people to feel good and like mushy at. When there's a disabled contestant on like a singing show, people have different reactions to them than they would non-disabled people. They're moved to tears and talk to the contestant in an infantilizing way. The singer might be on the news with mention of their disability, which mentioning it again otherizes. A lot of times the words overcome and move past are used, but an autistic singer is still autistic. A disabled artist is still disabled. Me and the singer aren't moving past, we're living with that disability. It's not amazing or beautiful, we're just living our lives and having hobbies and talents. Exploitation isn't meant to be hurtful to us, but it is anyway. If I inspire anyone, I want it to be other disabled people to love and advocate for themselves. I don't want a non-disabled person to think, well, if Juliana can do it, then I can do it. Why did you expect less of me? Um, so yeah, we don't overcome disability, we live with it. You deserve to be accepted with what you're able to do, and this is a disability truth. These all are. Even the same disability is different in everyone who has it. We may have physical or social limits, and that's okay. You don't have to push yourself to be fixed or cured. You can learn to manage your symptoms better, but nobody should force you to go outside of your personal boundaries. This pin says, please don't touch me. I don't like it. You shouldn't have to be trained to like something like that. And this pin says, I'm nonverbal sometimes. You shouldn't have to feel pressured to be verbal when you don't want to be, or when you're unable to be, I should say. And exploitation makes us feel like to be worthy to others as disabled people and to be accepted as one, we have to be amazingly talented or smart. Um, like those singers or Stephen Hawking, but you don't. You deserve to be accepted the way you are and with what you are capable of within your physical and social limits. I'm not going to be able to run marathons, and that's okay, and I should be accepted for that. You know, I shouldn't have to magically be a crazy athlete for people to respect me. You don't have to be less disabled. The woman who cuts my mom's hair has the same condition I do, fibromyalgia, and she's able to stand and cut hair and exercise. But I'm not able to, and that's fine. It affects us both differently. A reason why it's so easy for us to be othered is, again, lack of representation. And representation can be in TV, book, movie, or other media. And with the lack of representation, if people don't see us, they assume things from the little they know, and they're not taught about us in school either. When people talk about disability, it's going to be usually an exploitation story and not about our needs like accessibility and equality in the law and our health care. We need to be normalized, and being within our communities, claiming our disabled identity is a big part of that. And I know these are a lot of big words. As disabled people, there's a lot of complicated things about our existence. I apologize if this is hard to follow. With overcoming disability, that word, which isn't true, um, we live with it, like I said. A common phrase you might hear is, the only disability is a bad attitude, or you can do anything you put your mind to. These aren't true, and the first phrase assumes disability is something bad and not what we should identify as. The second ignores inaccessibility and the limits we have that even help can't solve. This doesn't apply to learning. Anybody can learn anything with enough work, but not all of us will want to learn certain things. But for activities, jobs, or hobbies, some of us will not be able in some areas, and that's okay. Find what you enjoy and can be accessible to your body or your mind. That's it for this week's video. I have a lot more disability stuff to cover. I'm really excited to share with you more about what I know. If you're an adult watching this, has any questions or concerns, go ahead and email me. This is my email. I know a lot, so talk to me. And here's some of my art. I decided to post some more. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great week. Goodbye!